Welcome back, my little nightmares. Me, Queen Nightmare, and we're coming to the end of both parts right now because I'm saying that now because I don't know why. You know what? It's 11 p.m. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of busy. I'll tell you why, though. It's not a good excuse because it's stupid. I was watching Twilight on crack. Because I forgot how funny, actually, if you look at, just look at their expressions. You know what? I didn't remember them being that funny because in the books, they're hilarious. And Edward even has a sense of humor, but in the movie, he's just a plain Jane. But, no offense to any Janes out there, but here we go. Busy day. Harry woke up early the next morning and left a note for the Weasleys. Harry was heading to Gringotts. He didn't want to have to explain to everyone why he was leaving. Harry climbed... Wait, what? Oh, I already read... Oh, great. I need to drink more double shot. Where is my double... Ooh, and this is even heavier. Did I put more stuff in here? It still tastes good, damn. Working day, not busy day. Harry woke up with everyone else and ate breakfast with his family. He wore some old shorts and an old t-shirt, tied his hair back, and said his goodbyes, and flew to Diagon Alley. There we go. I almost messed it up again because I'm saying it too fast. When he got there, he headed to the shop to see if he could find a radio that worked with a magical interference. He walked to the store clerk and asked, "Excuse me, would you happen to have anything that plays music? Maybe a radio?" Harry asked. The man thought for a moment and headed over to grab a Muggle radio. "I charmed this myself so it can get the same music the Muggles listen to," he said. Harry paid the man and took the radio with him. He headed off to his own store and started the day. Harry turned on the radio and started to work. He enchanted the walls white and did the same to the shelves. He fixed some of the floorboards and smoothed out the dented ceiling. He did the same with the next 2 floors as well. Harry left the store to go and buy some tables and a place to put his money. Harry was glad he had a checkbook with him. "Excuse me, how many tables do you have?" he asked the clerk at the furniture store. She showed him the back and where there was a whole bunch of cheap wooden tables. "How many do you have of these?" Harry asked. "As many as you want. We build these here. Takes about 2 minutes to assemble one of these with a little magic," she said. Harry measured the table with a tape measure he brought with him. He went back to his store and drew chalk outlines with where every table would go. He did the same to the next 2 floors, but he left one space so he could add standing shelves for the bottles. He went back and purchased 36 tables. Must be really small tables. I'm thinking how big a store is. I'm thinking how our general store used to be, which was probably how wide was the store from in front? It was about 12 feet big, and it elongated probably twice as much. So I'm thinking it's a really small store. So it's probably bigger than I'm thinking right now. But it's not a store anymore. It's, I think, a bar. or it's a store now for antiques. It used to be a hardware store. Me and my dad would go there a couple times just to go there because it was cheaper. And asked the lady to color them white. Why did I say pink? I was gonna say paint. Probably why. Them white. He looked around for some bookcases to double as shelves. If you'd like, we have floating shelves. Just place them wherever you want them in a room and drill a screw into the wall. The shelves won't move, she said. She told Harry. Harry tested the shelves out by leaning his weight onto them. They didn't budge. He ran back to his store and weaving around the growing crowds of people. He drew chalk outline of where the screws would be. And you have to find the studs, my dude. You have to be careful of that. Use a stud finder. You should get a stud finder if you're gonna do it. Oh crap, did I go down? Oh, there it is. Sorry, I had to reposition my hair. He decided the seven stacked together would make one full bookshelf. He needed 112 shelves for the second and third floors. He ran back to the lady and ordered them all white. Could you flew everything to my shop when they are done? The walkways are really crowded now, Harry asked the store owner. She said yes, and Harry went back to his store and waited for the table and shelves. An hour went by, and the tables were showing up in his flue. Harry quickly levitated them out of the way and stacked them around the room until he got all 36 tables. Harry then placed the tables where he drew the chalk outlines. He placed them where they needed to be. By the time he was done placing all the tables in their spot, it was already noon. Harry waited for half an hour until the shelves arrived. Since the shelves started to flow in, Harry stacked them all until he counted 112. He then got a package of screws with some instructions. Screw the screws in the floorboards. You mean in the boards in the walls, not floorboards. Floorboards are literally on the floor. Do you mean in the studs? There's a difference. Just to let you know, floorboards are the ones that are exposed. Studs are the ones that are literally the woods that's in between technically holding in the insulation so your house can keep out the cold or the hot. Just to let you guys know. There's some little knowledge. Where the ends of the shelves will be. Hold a shelf over the screws. Hold a screw over the shelf and they will... Oh. What? Hold a shelf over the screws and they will float. So there is an equal distance between the ceiling and the floor. Once they hold the second shelf into place, they will both adjust to an equal length away from themselves and the ceiling and the floor. Keep on doing this until they have the desired number of shelves in one area. Repeat the steps in a new section of the room. Harry disapparated to the second floor and placed the screws on the floor. He levitated it and used a twisting motion to make it screw into the floorboard. You're putting... Huh? Okay, this is confusing me. Harry did the same for the other screw. He was ready to add the shelves. He acioed the shelves and placed them in the correct slot. I need water. Literally just drowned myself in water. You could drown yourself with a water bottle, just to let you know. He occupied the shelves and placed them in the correct slots. He folded just like the paper said it would. He did this with 6 more shelves. He finally had all the shelves floating and placed where they needed to be. He did this 35 more times, and soon all the shelves were floating and in place. Harry left the shop and went to another shop that had a lot of miscellaneous objects. He found a fairly new cash register and paid for it. Harry navigated through the crowds of wizards and witches and placed the register in the front counter. Harry was near completion. He occupied the radio to lay on the front counter and he started to dust the floors. He heard a familiar song come on the radio. It was Bohemian Rhapsody. Poor Freddie. My mom, every time she sees a video of Freddie come on, she goes, "Freddie, you bastard. We miss you." If you don't know, Freddie is the lead singer in Queen who sings Bohemian Rhapsody. Problem is that he died of AIDS. He swung both ways. Let's just say that, but he died of AIDS. And it was just an unfortunate thing because he was absolute frickin' legend. Harry remembered this song because Dudley would listen to this song all the time. Harry hummed the beginning of the song but couldn't help himself and he started to sing. Well, I'm not going to sing it because of copyright, but I will say it. Mama just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. He sang as he swept. Mama, life had just begun. Now I've gone and thrown it all away. Harry used the handle end of his broom as a microphone at the point. Mama. Ooh, there you go. Didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, as if nothing really matters. Harry went back to sweeping. Too late. My time has come. Sends shivers down my spine. Body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody. I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth. Harry took a deep breath. Mama, ooh, I don't want to die. I wish I'd never been born at all. Harry used his broom as a guitar. He chuckled and listened as he swept. Harry whispered, I'm just a poor boy. Nobody loves me. And he listened to the reciprocating part. He is just a poor boy from a poor family. Spare him of his life and from his monstrosity. Harry chuckled and danced a little as he swept. Oh, mamma mia, Beelzebub has a devil put aside for me. For me. I'm not going to sing this. Harry sang. He used his guitar as a broom. He used his broom as a guitar. So you think you can stone me and spit in my eye? So you think you can love me and leave me to die? Oh, baby. Can't do this to me, baby. Just gotta get out of here. Harry wasn't even sweeping at this point. He was rocking out with his broom. Nothing really matters. Anyone can see. Nothing really matters. Nothing really matters to me. Harry sang. He heard the front doorbell chime and open, and heard someone sing softly, "Anywhere the wind blows." Harry turned around and saw Draco standing there, smiling at Harry. Harry became very self-conscious at the moment. "How long have you been listening to my song and hearing me sing?" Harry asked, embarrassed. "Since you were halfway through the song," Draco giggled. Draco went to kiss Harry on the cheek. "You have a nice voice," he complimented. "I never knew you listened to Muggle music," Harry said casually. Draco walked around, disobeyed my father once, and listened to one of the Muggle-borns sing that song, he said. Harry turned the music down. "So what do you want? I've been working on this all day. I just got to finish cleaning the floors," Harry said. Draco looked around and smiled. "You did well. I like the tables." "How much did you spend on everything?" he asked. Harry chuckled nervously. He looked through the list of numbers. He counted all in his head and nearly fainted. "Whew! I spent 500 galleons on the tables. I also got floating shelves," Harry said. "How much were all the shelves?" Draco asked. Draco asked. Harry looked through the numbers and nearly fainted again. "About 1,500 galleons?" Harry said sheepishly. Draco went wide-eyed. 1,500 galleons? Are you completely out of your mind? Draco exclaimed at Harry. Harry tried to calm him down. "In my defense, they were floating, so I couldn't help myself," Harry said, trying to smooth things over. Harry pinched the bridge of his nose. "You're lucky I'm rich. I really need to teach you about wizard money. At this rate, you'll go broke," Draco said, exasperated. He jumped on the counter to sit down. The counter to sit down. Harry sat down next to him. "I'm sorry, I just wanted this to be a nice store, so all. I guess I got sidetracked," Harry apologized. Harry kissed him on the cheek. "Don't worry about it." "Sorry I snapped at you," Draco apologized. "Do you want to see the other floors?" Harry asked. Draco nodded his head. Harry gave him a tour of the other floors, and Draco did like the shelves that Harry chose. If I'd known you were fixing up the store today, I would have come to help you." "Sorry you had to do this alone," Draco said. "It's all right, I enjoy this." "How far have you come with cataloging the plants?" Harry asked him. "Very close to being done. I got some of the house elves to help me out. I found some older potions and ingredients that my father had stored away, so we can sell those as well. He had a really good supply," Harry said. They locked up the store and went to the tavern to get some butterbeer. Is butterbeer actual beer? That's my question. I thought it was just like cream soda and something else. It's a mixture. I heard it's really good though. Very sugary though. "Do you feel like fixing up the house today? The only thing we'll need to do is replace the beds and sheets, add a fridge in the kitchen, dust around and clean out some things around the house." "Shouldn't take long," Harry asked Draco. Draco nodded his head. Sure, when we get the beds, we can hire someone to bring them in and set them up. I'll pay for it, that way you don't go broke by the end of the day, Draco said, teasing Harry. They paid for the butterbeer and found a store that sold mattresses. Harry Potter and Draco Malfoy, how can I be of service to you two? An old man greeted them. With Harry's hair tied up, people could recognize him better. Harry dropped his bun, let his wild hair free. Hello, I need 7 king-size mattresses, please. Harry told them. He raised an eyebrow, but still wrote down his order. Also, do you have a toddler-sized bed? We'll need one of those as well. Draco asked the man. You two going to have a child or something? The old man teased. Harry and Draco laughed with him. I finally got custody of my grandson. My grandson. What have you been doing in your free time, Potter? He's almost a year old, and we have a crib, but we need a bed when he gets older. Harry told them. It's the man, He showed Harry and Draco a nice toddler frame. Bed frame, with gates on the sides as he doesn't fall out, but it's big enough for him to be spaced out. Perfect. We'll take the 7 plus the toddler bed, Draco said. He pulled his checkbook out and gave the man a check. Do you have anyone who could help us bring the beds in? Draco asked. My 2 sons can do it for you, free of charge, the man said. Harry thanked the man and handed the old store owner the address to the manor. Harry and Draco set out and went to find a shop with bedspreads. Draco finally found a store that had duvets. Why would you want a duvet? I mean, I like to have a curtain around my bed from time to time, but that's also a way Psycho could happen. If you haven't seen Psycho, it's the place where they open up the sheet of the shower and stab someone. That's what I'm thinking of. And went to find a shop with bedspreads. What color scheme should we go for? Draco asked. Harry thought. We should probably stick with the gray and silver, green, black, and white scheme. The house and the sheets should be about the same. Harry said. It took a while of them looking through the different spreads, but they finally found one that was dark green with silver thread accents matching pillows. Draco paid for the beds, and they carried the package sets to the floes and flew to the manor. They placed the packages on the floor and waited for the boys to come with their mattresses. Half an hour later, they heard a knock on the door. Draco opened it, and there were 2 older men. Sorry for not using the floor. The beds couldn't fit. We can carry them in through the doorway, though, one of the sons said. Sure, all the beds are replacing the old ones on the 2nd floor. You can put the toddler bed on the 2nd floor to the last room, along with the king one, Harry told them. He opened the door and let the movers float the beds in. One of the sons was at the top of the stairs and waited for the other to bring them up the stairs. By the time the sons removed the old bed and put the new one in, the other brother was on his way up the stairs with another bed. After 15 minutes, all the beds were placed, and the toddler was built and placed in the correct room. Draco thanked the two, and the two showed themselves out. Now we just have to burn the mattresses and pack away the old sheets and replace them. Draco said. They both walked up the stairs and tried to look for a way to put the old mattresses out on the lawn. There was a large window in the library. We could break the window through the mat and throw the mattresses out on the lawn, then repair the window, Harry said. Draco never would have thought about breaking the window, but technically it would work. Harry blasted the window with a large gust of wind, and the glass went into the lawn. Harry and Draco worked together to float the mattress out onto the lawn and stack them out. Harry then replaced the glass window, and it was back to new. They packed up the old sheets in some old boxes and placed them in the attic. Harry ran out and placed the stack of old mattresses far away from the manor, and he started a protective barrier around the stack and lit it on fire. That way, none of the embers would travel to the woods and set it ablaze. Harry flew back into the manor as an owl transformed back and walked through the front door. Transformed into an owl, and yeah. Draco immediately handed Harry a feather duster. They don't work. Feather dusters don't work. You can do the first floor, and I'll start on the second. We can work on the third after, Draco said. He ran up the stairs and started. Harry started to dust around the figurines and that were on the mantel still. He dusted the tables and countertops. When he got to the kitchen, he face-palmed. Damn it! Forgot the fridge, Harry scolded himself. I'm heading out to get a fridge. Be back in a moment, Harry yelled up the stairs. Harry headed to the flue and flew back to Diagon Alley. Said it right and fast, too. Harry walked from the stores until he found a place that had resembled fridges on the display. Harry walked in and looked around. The sign said food cooler. That actually sounds nicer than a refrigerator. He got to the attention of one of the workers. Excuse me, the food cooler is a fridge, correct? Harry asked. The woman nodded her head. That's right. We've got an everlasting charm on these, so they always keep your food cooled to appropriate temperature. We also have freezers. She showed Harry a freezer. Harry found a fridge and a freezer combination and paid for it. Deliver it to this address, please, Harry said as he gave her his address. Harry flew back home to help Draco with the dusting some more. I'm back, Harry told Draco. Harry continued the first floor, and soon the fridge and the freezer were delivered in the flue. Harry floated it over to the appropriate place in the kitchen and went off to help Draco with the third floor. Did the fridge come yet? Draco asked. He already started on the third floor. Harry went to help him out. Yeah, I set it up. Hold on a second. There we go. I can't get it. Harry, Yeah, I set it up. Once we're done with this, all we need to do is put up some wards around the property and make the flue selective access, Harry said. They finished the third floor and headed down to the living room. Draco casted a charm on the flue and made it only accessible to Minerva, the Weasleys, Narcissa, Hermione, Neville, Luna, and Andromeda, and themselves. We'll need to get someone to come in another day to place the charms around the property. We can't do it ourselves, Draco told Harry. They rested on the couches together and talked for a bit. Their restless stomachs disturbed them, though. They looked at the grandfather clock in the room, and it was almost 7. I should head home. Mother will worry, Draco told Harry. Harry agreed. I think I'll head over to the Weasleys as well. Molly will throw a fit if I'm late for dinner, Harry said. Harry kissed Draco goodbye, and he flew home first. Draco flew home after Harry. When Harry got home, he immediately jumped to the kitchen, where Molly was almost done cooking. There you are. You've been gone for ages. You reek of sweat. Go take a shower and come down for supper, Molly ordered. Harry obeyed and went to take a shower and dress in cleaner clothes. When Harry finished, he rushed down to the table. Sorry I'm late. I got caught up. Harry apologized. He sat down with everyone and started to eat. When are you going to open your store? George asked. Harry thought. I'm not sure. It should be soon. The store is ready. All I need is for everything to be cataloged, then placed around the store. Then I'll be able to open up, Harry said. I have a question. What happened to, George's and Fred's store? Did that get burned down or something? Can't George still open it? Doesn't George still have the store? That's my question. Then again, I don't really remember what happened after the war, or what they said in the book. 'Cause I heard someone say something about something. Whatever. Then I'll be able to open it up, Harry said. That's great, Harry, Arthur praised Harry. Harry directed his attention to Ron. How was your date with Hermione? Harry asked. Great. We roller skated for a while, then walked around the park. She took me to a place called a mall. We saw a thing called a movie. It was like the pictures in the Daily Prophet, except they lasted a lot longer. It was an entire story. Hermione explained to me that there were people who act for a living and do movies. Then other people film it. Other people pay to watch it. We saw the movie called The Parent Trap. It was so cool. It must be the newer one, because they wouldn't show the 1960 one. Was it 1960s? Maybe even earlier than that. Ron said excitedly. He remembered there was food in front of him, and he continued to eat. That's great, Ron. I've only really watched cooking channels on the telly, Harry said. Everyone finished eating and headed off to bed. Harry was exhausted and immediately threw himself into his bed. Good night, Ron, Harry said sleepily. Night, mate, Ron said back. I didn't grammar check it, sorry, Alex said. It's all good, but the problem is that, there are some words that it looks like you played this with Grammarly. Right? Because, a lot of words looks like they were automatically changed on accident or something. Work. It's gonna be so cute. By the way, I'm not grammar checking this chapter. Great. I'm going to be fumbling over my words. The next day, Harry woke up extra early to make the Weasleys some breakfast. He wanted to do a little extra something to show them his appreciation for them. Harry headed to the kitchen, but some silencing charms around the kitchen so he would not wake them up. He pulled out some eggs, bacon, grits, potatoes, coffee, and bread, and started breakfast. Harry started with the grits and poured an approximate measure of grits, some butter, and some salt into a pot. If you don't know this, if a man or woman is hurting you physically and you know how to make grits, look it up. Put some hot grits on the stove and ask him what he wants. If he wants some hot grits, you take that hot grits, you pour it on them and beat him with the pan. And sees how does that make you feel when you're getting beaten? Huh? Because you throw hot grits at him. Let's see how tough the person who is beating on you. That's how you deal with it. And also call the police. Because you're done with their BS. Approximate measure of grits, some butter, and some salt into a pot. He always cooked by eye, and it always turned out good. Harry added the water and set the gas stove on low and covered the pot. Harry moved on to the hash browns, and he skinned the potatoes. I have a question. Who skins potatoes anymore? You know that there's so much nutrients in the skin. I heard that it's not in chicken skin, though. Chicken skin can be really fatty and disgusting for you. But potato skins are really good for you. Not raw, because that has so much bacteria on it, before you wash it, if you know what I mean. There you go. You got some knowledge about potatoes from me. Then took a cheese grater and grated the potatoes. He took breaks in between to stir the grits with a wooden spatula. Harry placed a pan on the stove, set it on low, and placed all the potato shreds into a pan. He then covered it. Harry waited for the eggs, bacon, and toast, since that only took minutes to make. After alternating between mixing the potatoes to mixing the grits, Harry set the pot of grits to the side and placed the potatoes on high. He waited for the bottom of the pan to brown before flipping it over. Once the hash browns were done, he placed them on a large plate, covered it, and placed some strips of bacon into the pan. He flipped them over after a minute, and soon the bacon was nice and crispy. He placed that off to the side and covered it, and then cracked the eggs over the pan one by one. He remembered how everyone liked their eggs. Molly and Arthur shared scrambled eggs. George ate sunny side up. He and Ron liked fried, and Ginny liked over easy. I don't think anyone knows how to make my favorite type of eggs because my mom only does. It's cheesy scrambled eggs, but the thing is that my mom does something to it that makes it so much better than anything in the world. I don't know how she does it, but it's just delicious. Harry made 2 eggs for everyone, and 5 for Molly and Arthur. He placed the plates down with covers to keep them warm. He placed the food on the table and set everything out. Harry quickly toasted some bread with magic and made a pot of coffee. Harry patted his pockets down, looking for his wand. He left it in the kitchen, on the kitchen counter. Harry facepalmed. I could have just charmed the food to stay warm, Harry thought to himself. Harry went back and charmed the food to stay warm. He removed the covers and started washing the pots and pans and grated a grater and knife that he used. Molly already taught Harry how to wash with magic, so Harry finished in a couple of minutes and waited for the others to calm down. About 15 to 20 minutes later, Molly headed down the stairs tiredly, ready to cook breakfast. She walked in the dining room, saw all the food, and saw Harry sitting at his usual spot drinking coffee and reading the Daily Prophet. "Did you do all this?" she asked incredulously. Harry placed his paper and coffee down and extended her arms towards the food. "Everything you like, already made, ready to eat," Harry said. Molly walked to the other side of the table and hugged Harry. "Thank you, Harry," she thanked. Poop. She left the dining hall and called down for everyone. "Wake up! Come get some breakfast!" Molly yelled up the stairs. They heard some grumbling and okays and soon everyone was at the table. "Everything looks good," Ron said. "How'd you make it so fast, Mum?" he asked. "Actually, Harry made it. He woke up nice and early and made everything," she said. "Wow," George said. "You even remembered the way I like our eggs." Our eggs. I cringe at the thought of what I just said. I would get a smack from the real George. "Thank you," he said. The others thanked Harry, and they all dug in. The grits tasted great, even though Harry eyeballed everything. When everything was done, Harry started to help Molly clean up the dishes. She swatted Harry's hand away. "I've got all the help I need, and you made breakfast. Go and see if Draco needs help with his cataloging. I'm sure you have other things to do," she smiled. Harry thanked her and ran upstairs to get dressed. He took out some old blue jeans and a muscle workout shirt. I'm imagining this and I don't like it. And he tied his hair up in a bun, which I don't mind that. He was ready in case the greenhouse was hot. Harry said goodbye to everyone and flowed to the Malfoy Manor. When Harry arrived, the manor was quiet. "Narcissa, Draco," Harry called. He heard someone call back. Narcissa walked into the living room and greeted Harry. "Hello, Harry. Great to see you. Are you here to help Draco?" she asked. Harry laughed. "How did you know?" He laughed at himself. Mother's intuition. Anyways, he's still in the greenhouse cataloging. He realized that the house elves had terrible handwriting, and he wouldn't read it. So he started all over, she said. Narcissa ran off to their backyard and looked for the greenhouses. Hey, do you mean Harry, not Narcissa? Narcissa ran off to their... Yeah, no, it's Draco. It's Harry. Harry ran off to... No, it's Narcissa ran off and looked for the greenhouses. That didn't sound right. So it's Narcissa ran off to their backyard, and Harry looked for the greenhouses. There we go. He walked down a gravel path and saw Draco through the windows, working with a floating notepad, a quick quill, and a hibiscus flower. Sometimes it's hard to read. He walked through the doors and greeted him. "Hey, Draco! Need any help?" Harry asked. Draco looked up and kissed him on the lips. Harry noticed the bags under his eyes. Yes. Everything was ineligible. "So I've been recataloguing since last night. I woke up because of a nightmare about a giant cactus attacking me," Draco said. Harry grabbed the notepad and quill and looked over at the list. "Go take a nap inside. I'll finish it up for you, and you're too tired right now," Harry ordered. Draco left reluctantly and went into the living room to take a nap on the couch for a bit. Harry found some over notepads filled with names and numbers. 3 notepads worth of plants. We're still somehow only halfway through, Harry said to himself. He sighed but floated the notepad and quill and started to take notes. He found that the quill was actually very useful when used properly. Draco had everything sorted very efficiently. So all Harry had to say was the plant's name and the amount they had. Harry did this for a couple of hours and soon only a fourth was left. He moved onto the next greenhouse, which was a bit smaller than the previous. He started to catalog all the plants. He did a little searching around as well. He hadn't seen the many rare plants in one place. It ranged from beautiful flowers that smelled like heaven to disgusting toad-like plants that spat acid if you got too close. He had a couple of holes burned through his shirt just from getting too close, but nothing too major. Draco walked into the greenhouse a little more refreshed. If you want, I can finish the rest. I feel a lot better, Draco offered. Harry shook his head. You've been working all night, so I'll finish this up for you, Harry told him. Draco sighed but gave in. He looked over at Harry, who was faced away from him. He noticed a couple burns through his clothes. Got too close, Draco thought to himself. Draco's eyes wandered down to Harry's arse. Freaking A. They have, way better vocabulary for swear words. Like bloody hell, or... because that's just very brilliant. Arse, which is an ass. I think bugger is kind of a thing I say a lot, which I got from what a normal British person would say. What else? I'm trying to think of other British slang words for swear words are there that you usually see in British movies, not... well, you will say it in some American movies because it's a British person, but I'm trying to think of their swear words. If you... Draco's eyes wandered down to Harry's arse. He got an idea and smirked. He walked over to Harry. I wish the greenhouses had some chairs, or a place to sit down, Draco commented. You can always find a wooden chair around and bring it in, Harry said, not looking up from the plants. Draco shook his head. He was getting closer to Harry. Never mind. I already found a place I'd like to sit on, Draco said casually. Where? Harry said, looking up from the notepad. Harry was right there. No, Draco was right there. Right here. Oh my gosh. Draco said on the here he slapped Harry's ass and which made Harry laugh. Oh, are you sure that's where you want to sleep? Want to sit? Harry smirked. Draco gasped and smacked his arm playfully. Look at you, Mr. Harry Potter, making dirty jokes. Draco laughed. Harry slipped his arms around Draco's waist, and Draco's around Harry's neck. They kissed again, They kissed each other, just stood there hugging. I can't believe I'm almost done with this. In a week, we'll have our own business, house and child to take care of, Draco said. Harry nodded slightly. It's so surreal, Harry said. Draco let go, and he looked over to the other notepads to make sure he wasn't missing anything. Harry continued, and after another hour, he finished the last greenhouse. Finished! Harry exclaimed. Draco looked over the last notepad and checked everything off. Now all we need to do is bottle and label the short-lasting ingredients, Draco groaned. He went into the back room and pulled out a couple of small crates of clear glass bottles, and he had a box of blank stickers. He pulled 2 quills and 4 small ink bottles. Draco pointed to one end of the greenhouse. I put everything that only lasts a short time over there, so we would have to run between each greenhouse. We wouldn't have to run between each greenhouse because everything needs to be sealed in a cork bottle so it stays fresh. Write the name of the plant and the part of it on the sticker and stick it on it. That was like pulling teeth saying that one sentence. Draco told Harry. Harry did as he was told, and the two sat down on the ground and started to snip pieces off, bottle them, and add their appropriate sticker onto it. After about 4 hours of working, they finished bottling everything. They packed all the bottles back into the crate. Draco placed them back into the back room. The two worked inside and looked at the time. It was 4 p.m. We still have some time left in the day. Do you want to head to the store and stock the shelves? After that, all we'll need to do is to pot the other plants and put them on display, Harry suggested. Draco agreed. They both had a bite to eat before walking back and flowing to their store. When they got there, they worked fast. Draco and Harry placed all the bottles in alphabetical order. It took 15 minutes, and soon every shelf had some kind of bottle on it. Some were big and curved to hold a specific leaf, and some were tiny, only holding as a couple seeds. Harry did a little check around everywhere to make sure everything was still in order. I'm going to head over to Gringotts and set up a date to get the property charmed. Head back and get some food. I'm going to get back to the Weasleys after I'm done, Harry told Draco. He kissed him goodbye, and they both parted. Halfway to Gringotts, he realized how dirty he was. The fact he was still in Muggle clothes. He didn't care, though. He headed over to the head elf, got the stink eye, and met with the goblin in charge of the property warding. Have a seat, Mr. Potter, the goblin, Nor, said. The office was a little smaller than Ragnarok's, but it had more color. I'd like to set up a date to ward my property. I just recently moved in, and I'd like to safeguard it. He told them. Nor pulled out a book and looked through it. What do you need out of the warding? Nor asked. He had this weird voice, as if he had a bubble stuck in his throat.
So it's like this? You keep on trying to get the bubble out?
That's what my voice does. It's really weird. I want to protect my family from anyone who wants to come inside, basically. I like it to be able to let animals roam freely through it, but it would be able to determine an animagus. Something so I can keep my nephew inside, so if he goes out for a walk in the woods, he won't be able to pass the barrier. If it is possible, something that expels transformed werewolves off the property and until they're human again. Harry told Nor. He scratched his flaky, dry skull and turned some pages. We have one that is very similar to what you want. It expels anyone who has the intent of evil things to enter the property. In turn, if someone was trying to sneak into your property as an animagus, they would be sent away if they had an evil intent upon the owners or their family. So you wouldn't have to worry about break-ins. Uncontrolled werewolves would have evil intents, so they would be expelled from the property if they turned inside the boundaries. Pretty much anything that has an evil intent will be expelled until its conscience has cleared. The boundary can also have a system where certain family members can leave only if they are being accompanied by the house owners. So if you wanted to go exploring with him past the boundary, you could, but if he was alone, he wouldn't be able to leave. That part of the charm can be taken off at any time, so if you feel he's mature enough, you can remove that aspect, Nora told him. He turned the book around to face Harry, so he could see as well. So how much would this cost me? Harry asked. Nor folded his hands. Free, he said. Harry's jaw dropped. Free? How could it be free? Don't you have to pay a big fee for property warding? Harry asked the goblin. Nor sighed. The goblin race has never been on Voldemort's side. He caused havoc on our stocks and economy. The council decided that since you defeated him and stopped our unrest, you would get one ward of any choice. One free ward for any choice. So, it is free, but only this time, Nor told him. Harry could see how painful it was for him to say that. He obviously didn't like losing money. That is perfect. I'll take it. I currently live at the Potter Manor, and oh boy. Hold on a second. I'm gonna actually put it into Google. Give me that. Wait. Hey. Found it. Lannerwist. Okay, that's what it said. Wales. I'm surrounded by miles of woods, Harry said. Nor wrote down everything and sent Harry off. Harry decided to walk around Diagon Alley a little bit. It was surprisingly quiet. Not many people were out at the moment. Harry looked at one of the clocks displayed in the window. No wonder everyone is eating dinner by now. Harry thought to himself. He was content, though. Molly always made dinner at around 8 p.m., so that gave Harry enough time to look around. Harry walked to the front of his store and looked at the blank area above the door. He and Draco had not discussed a name for the store yet. Harry thought a little. Almost every store had some kind of name on it, either referring to the current owner or previous owner. Harry thought of the perfect name. He smiled and head around to look at the shops. He went down through Nocturne Alley, and he found a jewelry shop. He walked inside and looked at the display they had. He looked at all the cases of jewelry. Everything ranged from wood to gold. He flagged down the owner. "I'd like to purchase that," he told the man, pointing at something through the glass. He packed it up for him, and Harry paid. He left to go back home. He had a huge smile on his face. When Harry... No, he's not gonna do what I think he's gonna do. He's gonna propose. He's gonna freaking propose. Dude, you've been dating for how long? I know it feels like a lifetime that you've known him, but no, you've only known him a decade. Maybe even less. And some of those years weren't good. So you've only been dating him for about a year? So, oh gosh. Oh no. When Harry got home, he said hello and jumped into the shower. He took a long shower before climbing out and getting dressed in clean clothes. He placed his package away in the drawer and headed downstairs. "Harry, there you are. I tried to say hi, but you ran upstairs," Hermione said. Harry just now noticed her. He gave her a hug and greeted her. "Sorry, I was really dirty from working in the greenhouses, so I went to take a shower. Anyways, how have you been?" Harry asked. "Great. My parents have decided to let me go off to take courses overseas for charm breaking. I'm going to train with Charlie, as a matter of fact," she said excitedly. Harry smiled. "That's wonderful, but don't forget to owl us or visit sometimes. Ron'll go crazy," Harry said purposely in front of Ron, just to embarrass him. "You bugger," Ron teased Harry. Molly popped her head out of the kitchen. "Dinner is ready." He means supper, because she's called it supper before. So it's supper. "Supper is ready. Everyone sit down," she said. They all headed over to the dining room, and they sat down in their usual spots. They all piled their plates and chatted a little. "Catch me up on everything, Harry. Ron's told me you got a store and you're moving out," Hermione asked Harry. "A lot has happened. I got a store which is almost ready to open. I'll just get to plant the plants on display and put the store name up. I inherited one of the manors from my parents, so me and Draco fixed it up so it was a bit more modern. And we're getting the property warded in the next couple of days. Draco is going to live with me. I got the custody of Teddy, but he's staying with his grandmother until the store opens. We get some groceries in the house," Harry summed up to Hermione. "You've got all that done? I'm impressed. The least prepared one of us has already accomplished a business and a family. You're only 17. I'm proud of you, Harry. But make sure to have fun. Don't work yourself to death," she warned. Harry brushed the last comment off. "Don't worry. The store is only to get some extra cash, so I have something to do. Until Teddy turns 11, I'll work until 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. I won't work on Mondays. I want to spend time with Teddy and Draco. Teddy and Draco will also be able to spend time with him and get to bond with him. Plus, I can bring Teddy with me to work sometimes," Harry informed Hermione proudly. He was so happy he'd also be able to have Teddy, since the store wasn't very demanding. If the business became very busy, he'd just hire someone to work the cash register while he helps the customers. That's great, Harry. I can't wait to see Teddy again. Oh, bugger. See, I just said it. The problem is that it just turned into an ad, and it just scared the crap out of me. Here we go. That's great, Harry. I can't wait to see Teddy again. He's so cute, Ginny said. Everyone finished eating, and they headed to their rooms for the night. Harry climbed into their bed and waited for Ron to shower and dress. He waited until Ron was ready, and they turned lights out. Harry had another busy day tomorrow. Last day and a housewarming party. Yeet! By the way, I don't own the Bard story. I just typed it. What? J.K. Rowling owns it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Alex, I don't know what's going on. Harry woke up late the next day. It looks like Ron was already up and out of bed. He got up and got dressed. He was a bit sore from everything the past couple of days. Ooh, by the way, it gets worse. Every day it gets sore and sore and more sore, and it gets the worse on the third day. Here's a little story for you. Yes, it's biblical, but, well, 3 tribes of Judah, like Reuben and Benjamin and so on and so forth, they had a sister who was taken advantage of by another man against her will. And after that encounter happened, they wanted to murder him with things. But the guy came up to the father and asked for her hand in marriage because he fell in love with her. So what the boys did was a trick. They said, all your men have to be circumcised. And all the men were, because he loved her that much. So what happened is that on the third day, they were the most sore. And you know what they did? They went through all the troops and killed all of them. And the father was so angry because now no one will do business with them. But the boys argued said, you do that with our family, you know better. It's more of a warning than anything. So there's a lesson of being sore. It just gets worse on the third day. That's how sore you will get. He got up and got dressed. He was a bit sore from everything the past couple of days. He rolled his shoulders around and headed downstairs. No one was around the house except Ginny. Morning, Ginny. Where's everyone? Harry asked groggily. She was sitting in the living room reading a book. Good morning, Harry. Everyone headed out for an errand. They'll be back soon. Mum suspected that you were really tired, so she let you sleep in. Breakfast is on the table, so help yourself, she said quite casually. Harry just headed to the dining room and ate some of the leftovers. That's weird. Usually everyone is here. What could all of them be doing? Harry thought to himself. He shrugged it off and headed back upstairs to get dressed. He walked down. Draco was in the living room. Morning, Draco. What brings you here? Harry asked happily. He kissed Draco, and Draco kissed him back. I thought I'd come over and ask if you could have some help displaying the plants. I went over to the shop earlier this morning, and I need an opinion of where to put everything, Draco told Harry. Sure, I'll help. Let's go, Harry agreed. The two flew away over to their nameless shop. When they got they walked out of the flue, Harry so many potted plants placed around on the floor. I got someone to help me pot and deliver all the plants. They're spread out around the 3 floors. I wasn't sure what you'd like to go where. You like to go where? Draco said. He walked around carefully so not to step on the plants. How about the common exotic ones on the 1st floor, some of the less attractive on the 2nd, and the rare ones on the 3rd? I was thinking the first 2 levels could be accessible to the customers, but the 3rd be kept under lock and key. We could offer a list of all the plants to the customers, and if they need something rare, we can open the door for them, Harry suggested. Draco agreed, and they started setting up the displays. Harry placed some of the more colorful plants in the display windows, along with an ugly one, just to show some variety. Then they grouped all the species of different areas, so if it would be easier to keep what they had. Harry placed a couple of the potions that Lucius owned on the display shelf, just so they would sell a little faster. They moved to the 2nd floor and placed the uglier plants there. Then they moved to the 3rd floor, and which also was where the flue was. They carefully set up the rare plants, minding that some do not like being with others. Draco casted a charm on the plants to stunt their growth, since they were already mature. They did a last sweep around to clean up some of the spilled soil, and they wiped down the counter. I think we're done. All we need to do is figure out the name of the store, Draco said. They sat down on the counter together. Don't worry about the name. I've got one already, Harry said proudly. What is it? Draco asked. Harry wagged his index finger. No. It's a secret. You'll find out on opening day, Harry told him. Draco sighed, but didn't follow it any further. Where did everyone go? When I came over, it looked like only you and Ginny were home. I have no idea. Ginny only told me that they went on an errand, Harry said. He looked down at himself and noticed all the dirt that was on him. I'm going to go back and get a shower. Do you want one as well? Harry asked. Draco did notice how dirty they were. Sure, I'll go grab some clothes from my house and come back, Draco said. They went to the flue, and where Draco flew home first, then Harry flew back to the burrow. Hey, Ginny, Harry greeted as he walked out of the flue. Hey, Harry, she greeted casually. Harry jogged up the stairs and opened his drawer, only to find that they were empty. Why are all my clothes gone? Harry thought to himself. He jogged back downstairs to ask Ginny. Ginny, have you seen where my clothes are? He asked. She nodded her head. Well, still reading. Yeah, Mum came by and took them with her. You just missed her, actually, she said, not even looking at Harry. Draco emerged from the flue. Mother's gone and so are my clothes, Draco said. Molly just left with my clothes as well, Harry said. He raised an eyebrow at Ginny. Why are they both gone with our clothes? I feel like you know something, but you aren't telling us anything, Harry asked suspiciously. Why would I ever keep anything from you, Harry? Do you not trust me? She pouted. Harry believed her, but Draco didn't. You're lying, I can tell. You never pout, and you're avoiding direct eye contact with me, Draco said. Harry looked at Ginny and noticed she was avoiding eye contact. Harry did remember that she only pouted once before. He's right, you never pout. The only time I've ever seen you pout was when you were really young, Harry concluded. Where is Molly and the others? Why are our clothes missing? Harry asked again. Ginny paused a moment, but sighed. I can't tell you. Just stay here until 1, she pleaded. Harry rubbed his eyes. You know what? Whatever everyone is doing is their own business. I don't mind, but we'd like to take a shower and get out of these clothes. We're covered in soil, Harry told her, pointed out the dirt on their pants. Let's just go to the manor and get a shower. I have some spare clothes that I left there, Draco said. Harry and him were almost to the flue when Ginny stopped them. No, don't go, she pleaded. Harry and Draco sighed. We're leaving, Harry said, making it final. Harry and Ginny sighed. I didn't want to have to do this, she said. She whipped out her wand and pointed at Draco. Perfecta Totalis. Oh, I probably said that wrong. Perfectus Totalis, and shot it at Draco. Harry had his wand halfway out of his pocket, but Ginny beat him to it, and shot a Perfecto Totalis at him. They both got rigid and fell to the ground. I'm sorry, but you left me no choice, Ginny apologized. She'd put a pillow on under their heads and left to get some tea. She came back and opened her book again and drank some tea, not even minding the 2 bodies on the floor. Ginny looked up from her book and she heard the clock strike 1. She marked her book and performed the counter curse on the 2. They rolled around a little and jumped back up, brandishing their wands towards Ginny. She put her hands up in defense, but she wasn't scared. Don't worry about me. You can go home now. I just needed you to stay for a bit, Ginny told them casually, but she managed to smirk as well. Harry and Draco backed into the flue and flew to their manor. When they got there, everything looked pretty undisturbed. Thank Merlin, I thought something bad happened to the house, Harry said. Draco looked around. He heard something. Just then, they saw little Teddy waddling over to Harry, blue-haired, giggling, their eyes widened. Teddy! Harry exclaimed. He squatted down and picked Teddy up. Suddenly, everyone popped out of their hiding places. Surprise! They shouted. The Weasleys were there, and so was Narcissa, Hermione, and the grandmother. I'm not trying to say her name over and over and over again, because I will foop it up. You know what I mean. What's going on? Harry exclaimed over the cheers. Ginny flew into the house behind them. It's a housewarming party, she told them happily. Teddy was laughing and giggling a whole bunch at everyone's happy faces. Hermione jumped to Harry and hugged him. Then she hugged Draco. Glad you came, she said. Molly walked over to the 2 and gave them a hug. We all decided to throw you a housewarming party. Pretty much every family has one when their child leaves. We had one for Bill and Charlie a while ago. Is it bad that I don't remember Charlie? I remember Percy. I just don't remember Charlie. I'm such a bad person. How many kids do they effing have? Jeez, do they have only one girl? Is Charlie a girl? I thought Charlie was a boy. How they're saying it sounds like more of a male name than a girl name. It comes out like Charlie, it's a way of their saying it. You can kind of tell, but maybe it's not. And now it's your turn, she exclaimed happily. Narcissa came over to hug the two of them. I love the manner you chose. It's so pretty, she complimented. They said hi to everyone, and the grandmother went over to kiss Harry on the cheek. How are you, Harry? She asked. Harry was still holding Teddy. I'm doing great. Thank you for showing up, Harry thanked her. It was nothing. I wanted to see you too, and see the house, she said. She turned to Draco and held her hand out. I'm Andromeda Tonks. It's nice to meet you. She smiled. Draco took her hand and shook it. Draco, it's nice to meet you too. And Teddy, after so long, Draco greeted. The two finished their hellos and followed Molly into the kitchen. There was all small snack foods laid about everywhere. I decided to go a little grocery shopping for you two, so I got you some meats and veggies that would last a while, Molly said, pointing over to the fridge. You didn't have to go through all this trouble, Molly. Come over is all that I would ask for, Harry told her. She just waved her hands. Nope, it was my pleasure. I know you needed to stock some food up, so I got you some. Andromeda also got you some baby food for Teddy, Molly said. I hope it can last a week because Teddy's not supposed to come over yet. They haven't even stocked up the store yet. Like a little bit, but they haven't made it official. That's the problem. So wait a while, let it start the business, and then maybe, Molly said. Harry looked through in the cabinets and found all Teddy's little bows, bottles, and food. This is wonderful, he said. Teddy was giggling with excitement. Harry kissed Teddy on the head and handed him over to Ginny, who was dying to hold him. He's so cute, Ginny said. She carried him on her hip. He giggled and sprouted red hair and freckles, which made her laugh. George walked over to Harry and Draco and hooked his arms around their shoulders. If you were wondering where your clothes are, Molly and Narcissa brought them here in some bags. They're in your room, so you can have a shower. No offense, but you're covered in dirt. George teased. The two realized why they went to the manor in the first place. Excuse us. We'll go take a shower and come back down. Harry excused himself while dragging Draco behind him. They walked up the stairs. This is amazing, Draco marveled. They went to their room and pulled out their clothes from their bags and placed them in their closet. Their shoes were even there. Draco walked over to the bathroom and started the water. The shower head can hold 2 people and had 2 shower heads on opposite sides. And you don't mind sharing a shower together, right, Harry? Draco asked him. As long as you're okay with it, Harry said. The two closed the bathroom door and awkwardly got undressed while trying to look at each other. Wow. Nice. They both climbed into the shower and got washed. Harry facing one way and Draco facing the another. They quickly got washed, dried, and they jumped into clean clothes. They hurried down the stairs and joined the group again. Harry tied his hair up into a clean bun to keep it out of his face. The longer hair on the top of Draco's head curled up and kept its way out of his eyes. Okay, we're back, Draco told the group. Everyone was standing around and eating some of the food Molly set out. Great, now we can hand out our presents, Arthur said. Presents? How come? Draco asked. Narcissa laughed. Now that you moved out, it's custom for the family to bring gifts for the new house. Oh, I wish that was a thing. The things I would ask for from my college dorm. I want a mini fridge. I want a friggin' TV. I want a subscription. I want to be on your plan for Netflix and Disney Plus. That's it. That's all I need. That I can both put on my friggin' what is it? The thing on the wall. No, my TV, computer, and my phone. That's all I'm asking. Just supply me with years of that. And if I'm doing bad in school, you can take it away. I literally just want it. Everyone was standing around and eating some of the food. Whatever. For the family to bring gifts for the new house, like dinner sets and glasses, Narcissa told Draco. Ron dragged the two back into the living room and everyone followed. It looked like they set the presents up while they were showering. Everyone sat down. Go on then. Open them, Ginny insisted. Harry reluctantly picked up a present and he and Draco opened it up. Inside was a full set of different types of porcelain plates and bowls. They're beautiful, Draco said. The little note said that it came from Narcissa. Thank you, Mother, he thanked. Thank you, Narcissa, Harry thanked. They opened the next box, and it was labeled Molly and Arthur. Inside was a large set of goblets that were all silver, with little patterns on it. These are beautiful, Molly. Thank you, Harry thanked. There was a couple more smaller gifts. Hermione got them both their own seal stamp and gray wax. The seal was a lion and a snake wrapped around the other. Draco especially loved this gift. Andromeda got them 2 different types of wine. Ooh. I hope they're good vintage. I don't know any vintage of wine. I wish I knew, because my grandma and my mom have bad taste in wine. No offense to them. Literally, my mom doesn't drink any wine. She's more of a whiskey, rum type of girl. You know what I'm getting at. I would like a good wine. The thing is I like sweet drinks, so a rum and coke probably is my thing in the future. Don't condone underage drinking. Big letters. Got them with a little note that said, "You'll need it." Harry laughed at the card, but was still also a little worryful. Ron got them some sweets. Of course he did. They only had one present left. It was a thin, larger box. It was black wrapping around it. The two opened it, and Harry and Draco's hands immediately flew to their mouths to stop their laughter. Draco quickly closed the box. No. No, don't be, no. No, I don't want to see this. If someone gave me this and my dad was in the room, he would beat their ass. And I wouldn't mind it at the same time, but they opened it and Harry and Draco's hands immediately flew to their mouth and to stop their laughter. Draco quickly closed the box so the others wouldn't see. George! What in Merthin's name did you get us? Harry asked George while laughing his tail off. George was laughing as well. You know exactly what it is. George said, show the others. He has the same comedy as me, but if one of my friends got me this, my dad, no, I don't want to see this. I would have to, it had to be all friends. And me just giving my friend this. I would do it. Harry took a breath from laughing and opened the box and pulled the object out. Everyone except Molly and Arthur. Wait, for Molly and Arthur. What? And blank. Because it says Molly again. Everyone bursted out laughing. The other three just hid their faces with their hands. Harry was holding a kinky black whip. You know damn well I'm giving my friend that when she goes, she's in a relationship. And they're moving in together. You know damn well I'm going to embarrass her like this. Yeah, girl, you know it. Ron might as well have been having a fit, because he was rolling on the ground, laughing. Is this a joke? Draco asked, laughing. George only nodded, giggling his little ass off. But, hey, you'll always have it if you need it, Draco teased. Oh my gosh. Harry placed the whip away and put the box aside. Bloody good joke, though. Harry said. They all both... I'm thinking it's Narcissa, who is everything except for Molly, Arthur, and Narcissa bursted out laughing. There we go. That's probably what it was. Harry said. They both hugged everyone and thanked them for the presents. Thank you so much. You really did save us a couple days ago for finding all this. Draco thanked them. Harry walked... Hey, a story for the grandkids, okay, guys? Story for the grandkids. Draco thanked them. Harry walked off to the kitchen to make everyone a cup of tea and brought back a tray and a tea set. It was the set he found in the kitchen a couple days ago when they were cleaning. Harry washed it so it was clean. He handed everyone a cup of tea, and they all talked for a bit. So, when are you opening the store? Hermione asked them. Probably in a couple of days. Everything but the sign is ready, Draco told her. And apparently, Harry is going to make the sign, but he won't tell me the name he chose, Draco said saltily, looking at Harry. It's a surprise. What can I say? Harry said in his defense. I want everyone to find out all at the same time. Teddy waddled over to Harry and grabbed onto his pant leg. Harry picked him up and put him on his lap. Teddy still had freckles and red hair. Did you want to sit on Uncle Draco's lap? Harry asked Teddy. He squealed. Draco was a little hesitant. Harry placed Teddy on Draco's lap. Hey there, Teddy, Draco said to Teddy. Teddy got real quiet, stared at Draco. Draco was scared that Teddy was frightened of him, But a moment later, I think Teddy reads people. It's something that children do when they're a child, when they're a baby. You can tell that they do like a person, and they can tell that the person's good by just watching them, observing them for like 1 second. And then they'll be fine. And I think he was just observing him to like get his look or something. Silly. Teddy, but a moment later, Teddy's hair turned white. The freckles left, and he giggled. Draco laughed with him. Draco bounced him on his leg a little, and Draco had fun playing around with his long hair. Harry remembered that when Teddy was born, he was there. Teddy's natural color is a light brown, just like Remus, and he had brown eyes. As he got older, his hair changed colors, but mostly stayed blue, with brown eyes. His hair, eyes, and skin color was the only thing he could change at the moment. I wonder if he'll look like Remus, Harry smiled, looking at Teddy. Andromeda nodded. In our family, the sons usually take after the fathers and the personality of their mother. Nymphadora was very happy as a child, just like Teddy, always laughing and always trying to make others laugh. Teddy looked a bit like Remus, so he'll probably look like him and act like Nymphadora. Andromeda told Harry. I bet he's going to be a Hufflepuff, Draco said. He was playing around with Teddy, now a lot more comfortable with him. I think you're right, Harry agreed. Everyone talked and snacked a little bit. You know what this reminds me of? If you don't know who Dan and Phil are, Daniel Howell and Phil Lester are two British YouTubers, and they were playing Sims 4, which I have on my computer, which I need to live stream more often on my Twitch. And when they were playing the game, their alien baby, yes, they have an alien baby in Sims 4, bumped their head when they were walking, and he's like, and Dan was just watching him for a second, and he was all happy, but then all of a sudden when he bumped his head, was like, we need to baby proof out of this place. Like he was a worried father. That's what I imagine Draco to become. So, if you haven't seen that, I highly recommend. If you love the LOLs, you'll absolutely die over Dan and Phil. They're amazing. They're an amazing duo, and I miss them playing games together. It was like one of the highlights in my day. Even playing the golf games, which they absolutely hated playing, because that just made me happy. He was playing around with Teddy a lot more comfortable. Wait. Yes. I think you're right, Harry agreed. Everyone talked and snacked a little. At around 5 p.m., everyone was started to say their goodbyes. Since everything they needed, they decided to move right in. Andromeda said she would stay the night so she could show Harry Teddy's night and morning routine. Once everyone left, Andromeda took Teddy, while Draco and Harry cleaned up the plates and cups everywhere. It only took a moment, so they were able to start making dinner sooner. Harry decided to cook, and Andromeda and Draco played around with Teddy. When it is just you two in the house, if you are both working on dinner, just place him in the high chair. I usually eat first, then feed him since he can't feed himself, Andromeda told Draco. and Draco understood, but he stayed with Teddy since he wasn't doing much. Teddy has only shown accidental magic once, and it was when we were out one day. He started to cry because a couple next to him started to bicker. He actually made little hovering gray clouds that started to rain on himself, which made him cry more. Do not be afraid to discipline in fear of accidental magic. With his personality, it shouldn't be serious. But don't fight in front of him. He'll rain everywhere, she told the two. Harry understood. You said you brought the crib, right? Harry asked her while cooking. He was seasoning the salmon at the moment. Yeah, I also brought his favorite toys and his favorite blanket. He doesn't sleep without it, she told him. Harry fired up the salmon and asparagus. He finished quickly and brought everyone a plate of food. Draco placed Teddy in his high chair and sat down with the others. Teddy was just played with the stuffed dog in the meantime. Thank you, Harry, Andromeda thanked. They dug in and everything tasted really good. All the rooms are set up, so you can choose whatever one you want, Harry told Andromeda. Everyone finished and Harry placed the plates away. Andromeda got the baby food and a baby spoon. He handed it to Draco. Just spoon it to him. But make sure he finishes his bites before you give him another. He usually eats half a container every meal. Oh, he's a big eater. Not a lot of babies do that. You know what? I was not a fussy baby. You gave it to me. It could be the weirdest food. It could be disgusting. I'd be the one that always had its mouth full. Give me more food. I was that type of baby. I was not a fussy baby. You give me anything, I'd eat it. You could have gave me... I'm not going to say that because my stomach just lurched. I'm not going to say that. Really bad. It could have been bananas. I liked it. That's a disgusting word. That's the thing I could say. I can't say the other thing I was going to say. She told Draco. Harry watched Draco as he fed Teddy. Having Andromeda here was mostly for Draco to learn how to take care of a baby. Harry was very confident already since he spent time with Teddy. Draco fed Teddy until he wouldn't eat any more. Draco used his bib to clean his mouth, and he took it off. He took Teddy out of his high chair and carried him. All right, I usually give him a bath right after dinner to tire him out a little for bed. I brought his shampoo and soap, she said. Draco handed Teddy to him, and the three went up to his bathroom in his room. Harry undressed Teddy, and Andromeda started a bath. By the way, if you really want to be safe for a bath, use the sink. That's how I used to do it. For if it was just to wash my even when I was up to like preschool, I was bathed in the sink if I was at my daycare. But for a baby, it's safer to do it in the sink because then they're less to drown and you're always there. And you're up straight and you're always alert to wash them. And it's easier for you to be washing them because they have such a small body, and in the bathtub there's so much water they could accidentally drown. So a sink is much better than a bathtub, just so you know, for smaller children. Such as 0 to, let's say 4. But then again, they did only wash my hair in the sink when I was 4. when I got to that age, I was washing myself in the tub. But she only put in a couple of inches of water. Still dangerous for a baby because a baby could slip and you wouldn't know it. That's the problem, because a lot of people get distracted. They're like, oh, they're in the tub, there's only a few inches. No, you can drown with a water bottle. Believe it or not, you can drown with a water bottle. Sadly saying, because just a small bit of water getting into your lungs. What? I've been reading for an hour or so. I needed water. Because he's so small, only a couple of inches will do. Just tilt him back a little. Some babies do cry when you're bathing them because they don't like a lot of water near them. They don't know what it is. Pour some water over his head, yes, avoiding his eyes. Yep, use your... Why do I know how to take care of a baby, but I can't take care of myself? I don't know what it is. She instructed. Harry tilted him back, took a scoop of some water, and poured it on his head. Draco squeezed a little soap into his hand and gently washed his head. Teddy laughed, and his hair turned hot pink, and Harry rinsed his hair out. They washed his body, and once the bath was done, Draco took a towel and gave Harry, and Harry gave it to Draco. They stayed in the warm bathroom, drying him off, and they pulled his pajamas on. Since Teddy's hair doesn't need to be styled, he just dried his hair with a spell, and Harry was all ready for bed. I usually tell him a story, or I read him one. His favorite is The Three Little Bears, Andromeda told them. Draco transfigured a chair into a rocking chair. Harry rocked Teddy in it. Draco took a small book out of Teddy's toy chest and gave it to Harry. It was the Tales of the Beetle and the Bard. The Warlock's Hairy Heart, Harry started to read. There was once a handsome, rich, and talented young Warlock who observed that his friends grew foolish when they fell in love, gambling and preening, losing their appetites and their dignity. The young Warlock resolved never to fall prey to such weaknesses, and employed dark arts to ensure his immunity. Unaware of his secret, the Warlock's family laughed at him laughed to see him so aloof and cold. All will change, they prophesied, when a maid catches his fancy. But the young Warlock's fancy remained untouched, though many maiden has intrigued by his haughty mien, and employed her most subtle arts to please him. None succeeded to touching his heart. The Warlock gloried in his indifference and sagacity. There we go. And that had produced it. The first freshness of youth waned, and the Warlock's peers began to wed, and then to bring forth children. Their hearts must be husks, he sneered inwardly. He observed the antics of young parents around him, shriveled by the demands of these mowling offspring. And once again he congratulated himself upon the wisdom of his early choices. In due course the Warlock's aged parents died. Their son did not mourn them. On the contrary, he considered himself blessed by their demise. Now he reigned alone in their castle, having transferred his greatest treasure to the deepest dungeon. He gave himself over to a life of ease and plenty, his comfort the only aim of his many servants. The Warlock was sure that he must be an object of immense envy to all who behold his splendid and untroubled solitude. Fierce were his anger and chagrin. Therefore, when he overheard two of his lackeys discussing their master one day, the first servant expressed pity for the Warlock, who, with his wealth and power, was yet beloved by nobody. Harry said. Teddy yawned and his eyes became heavy. Harry continued, but his companion jeered, asking why a man with so much gold and a palatial castle to his name had been unable to attract a wife. Their words dealt dreadful blows to the listening Warlock's pride. He resolved at once to take a wife, that she would be a wife superior to all others. She would possess astounding beauty, exciting envy and desire in every man who beheld her. She would spring from a magical lineage, so that their offspring would inherit outstanding magical gifts. She would have wealth at least equal to his own, so that his comfort existence would be assured in spite of additions to his household. It might have taken the Warlock 50 years to find such a woman, yet so happened that the very day after he decided to seek her, a maiden answering his every wish arrived in the neighborhood to visit her kinsfolk. She was a witch of prodigious skill and possessed of much gold. Her beauty was such that it tugged at the heart of every man who set eyes on her. Of every man, that is, except one. The Warlock's heart felt nothing at all. Nevertheless, she was the prize he sought. As he began to pay her court, all who noticed the Warlock's change in manner were amused, and told the maiden that she had succeeded where a 100 had failed. The young woman herself was both fascinated and repelled by the Warlock's attentions. She sensed the coldness that lay behind the warmth of his flattery, and had never met a man so strange and remote. Her kinsfolk, however, deemed theirs a most suitable match, and eager to promote it, accepted the Warlock's invitation to a great feast in the maiden's honor. The table was laden with silver and gold, bearing the finest wines and most sumptuous foods. Minstrels strummed on silk-stringed lutes, and sang of love their master had never felt. The maiden sat upon a throne beside the Warlock, who spake low, employing words of tenderness he had stolen from the poets, without any idea of their true meaning. The maiden listened, puzzled, and finally replied, "You speak well, Warlock, and I would be delighted by your attention, if only I thought you had a heart." The Warlock smiled, and told her that she need not to fear on that score. Bidding her follow, he led her from the feast and down the locked dungeon, where he kept his greatest treasure. Here in the enchanted crystal casket was the Warlock's beating heart, long since disconnected from eyes, ears, and fingers. It had never fallen prey to beauty or to a musical voice. To feel the silken skin, the maiden was terrified by the sight of it, for the heart has shrunken and covered in long black hair. "Oh, what have you done?" she lamented. "Put it back where it belongs, I beseech you." Seeing that this was necessary to please her, the Warlock drew his wand, unlocking the crystal casket, slicing open his own breast, and replaced his hairy heart in the empty cavity it had once occupied. "Now you are healed and will know true love," cried the maiden. She embraced him. The touch of her soft white arms, the sound of her breath in his ear, the scent of her heavy golden hair, all pierced the nearly awakened heart like spears. But it had grown strange during its long exile, blind and savage in the darkness to which it had been condemned, and the appetites had grown powerful and perverse. The guests at the feast had noticed that the absence of the host and the maiden. At first, untroubled, they grew anxious as the hours passed, and finally began to search the castle. They found the dungeon at last, and the most dreadful sight awaited them there. The maiden lay dead upon the floor. Her breast was cut open. Beside her crouched the mad Warlock, holding in one hand a great, smooth, shining scarlet heart, which he licked and stroked. Ugh. Yikes, my dude. What the happened? Whew. Don't touch it. Just no. Licked and stroked, vowing to exchange it for his own. In his other hand he held his wand, trying to coax from his own chest and shriveled hairy heart, but the hairy heart was stronger than he was, and refused to relinquish its hold upon his senses, or to return to the coffin in which had been locked away for so long. Before the horror-struck eyes of his guests, the Warlock cast aside his wand and seized a silver dagger, vowing never to be mastered by his own heart. He backed it from his chest. Harry picked Teddy up and gently laid him in his crib. For one moment the Warlock knelt triumphantly, with a heart clenched in each hand. Then he fell across the maiden's body and died. Harry concluded. Teddy was asleep in the blanket over him. Harry, Draco, and Andromeda left the room and quietly closed the door. The two went to the parlor and sat down. "That went very well. I think you'll raise him well," Andromeda told the two. "I'm going to ask you, what the heck is that story? What's the purpose of it? That love isn't evil? Neither is it good or bad. It's just... it's an action and a feeling. It's more of an action. You'll give yourself up for someone else. It's proven through action." I don't know what that story's about. The two went to, Thank you for letting Teddy be with us, and for staying and showing us how to take care of Teddy. Draco thanked her. "I really appreciate it. Harry, we really appreciate it." Harry said, and Hermita yawned. No problem at all. I think I'll head to bed. Good night, the both of you, she said. She left the parlor and went into the room next to Teddy's. Harry and Draco headed over to their room and got dressed for bed. They both just climbed into their bed wearing t-shirts and boxers. The covers were warm enough so they didn't need to wear pajama bottoms. Draco got really close to Harry and laid next to him. I love you so much, Draco, Harry told him. He gave Draco a long kiss on the lips. I love you too, Draco told him as they separated. Harry turned the nightstand light off, and the two fell asleep. Yo, I love this chapter. It's so cute, Alex says. My question is what was the purpose of that story? It's 2 hours long. Wowzers, this is the longest this story has ever been. I am so sorry. But this is going to be a good surprise to you guys. You're being like, what the heck is this? Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that very much. I enjoyed it. I don't know how to explain this. What was that story? Please explain that to me. It was called a what? Go to the top again. Oh, shit. I went to the wrong one. Damn it. Son of a bitch. There we go. I'm going to read you the update. What? What the frickin'... Huh? Oh, this went back to the thing. Update. Go back to... Okay. There's going to be a big turning point in the story down the road. I've decided to make that into a separate sequel. It's going to be really crazy, but I've got a couple of chapters to go before that happens. Read the next chapter. It's going to be out in an hour or so. Okay. Anyways, that was an interesting story. I didn't understand it, though. What was the moral of the story? It just confused the heck out of me. Is it like saying that giving up your heart it just controls you even more? I don't get it. Like he was foolish? Please help me. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. It was so much fun doing this. And guess what? You get 2 hours of content. How about that? And you get a weird story from J.K. Rowling. That is the actual story from J.K. Rowling. And I give all credit to her. It's not my story. It's not this person's story. They even said it at the beginning. And I was like, what this is about? You know, that's why I was confused. Thank you guys for watching. Be happy, be healthy, and always be loving. I love you guys so much. Bye-bye.